Welcome to Central News, I'm Hilary Entwistle. In today's news, goodness grows in Te Puke according to a new tourism campaign aimed at bringing more tourists and business to Te Puke. Te Puke Economic Development Group has launched the campaign with a biannual magazine to encourage business growth to the Rangiuru Business Park and to the town centre. Mark Boyle, Managing Director, says that they chose the name Goodness Grows here because of the unique soil that Te Puke has that allows good crops.
Volcanic ash soil, which is quite unique to our particular microclimate, if you like. High sunshine hours, high rainfall, invigorating winter frosts, the moderating impact of the Pacific Ocean, which is just a kilometre or so away from where we are today, provides this unique climate and the ability to grow superfoods. So we see that as being something that's different and unique for Te Puke, and we want to promote that concept.
Waikato District Health Board has approved an investment of up to $1.9 million at Tokoroa Hospital to accommodate primary care providers and relocate the DHB's blood collection service. Chief Executive Craig Clom says the project brings together a number of primary and secondary providers in one location and will provide opportunities for working more closely together. The proposal will be an investment and landlord tenancy arrangement to support the service integration strategy that the board has had for some years at Tokoroa and Taumarunui hospitals. The proposal sees two wards currently not in use, wards 3 and 4, leased to primary health and non-government organisations as long-term tenants. Tauranga Girls student Emily McCarthy's dream for a harmonious race relations in New Zealand has won her a spot at the National Race Unity Speech Awards. The Year 12 student recently won the regional competition with her speech My Dream for Aotearoa in New Zealand. As her prize, Emily will travel to Auckland to compete against other regional winners at a national semi-final on Friday, April the 5th. If successful, she will participate in the national finals and have the opportunity to participate in the annual Race Unity Conference on April the 6th. The chief judge of the regional competition, Toastmasters Christine Meyer, says Emily's speech was excellent. Just ahead, one of the best in the country. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. Trelise Cooper is one of the top New Zealand fashion designers, and as a little Easter treat, Amy caught up with her to find out the ins and outs of the industry.
Welcome back, Trelise. Now, what inspired you to get into the fashion industry?
I've had a love of dressing up and dresses since a small child, and I grew up in the 60s, so I had all my mother's 50s frocks, and I had all my friends' mother's 50s frocks, and we would all get together after school and dress up non-stop. So I think that began it, and I've never not loved getting dressed up. And I was the sort of child that I had 15 try-ons before I'd leave. My mother was so relieved when I had a school uniform, and nothing's really changed. I still do that. I leave home with a pile on the bed.
And what challenges did you face in the early stages?
I think the challenges are varied many, and there's lots of them, and I believe when you are living your dream, it's never plain sailing. You know you've got your dream when there are challenges, and probably it would have been being taken seriously and with credibility because I didn't train. And also I think getting funding was really difficult to begin with because as a woman, I'm talking early 80s here, I was young in my early 20s, and I ended up selling a house that I owned in order to fund the business because banks really didn't want to risk with me.
So how has your fashion empire expanded over the years?
I think it's gone way beyond what I ever expected, and it's got bigger and bigger. And of course I started out untrained, but very quickly after you make lots of mistakes you find you're well trained. So I've done the University of Trelise in fashion design, and I think I've come out with enough to make it successful. So you know, I've sold all across the world and to celebrities, and I've done things way more than I ever expected to. But I've got a little motto, and it's 10 two-letter words, and that is if it is to be, it is up to me, and I think you have to live your life by that. It is totally your responsibility how your life turns out, and I've lived that fully, that if I want it to happen, I have to take action, and I have to dream it first, and then I have to take action.
Now, can you tell me what the process of designing a garment is and how long it takes till it makes it into the store?
It's actually a really long process, and especially for me, because I don't just design the garment, but I design a lot of the fabrics and the way in which the fabrics are shown. So, you know, these flowers or sequins. So there's a lot of design elements. And I guess it starts out from the moment that I begin an idea right through to selling it to, say, a store here in Tauranga, to being paid for it is about an 18-month journey. So it's a long way ahead. A lot of that has to do with fabric manufacture and design and getting colours right. It has to do with having a prototype made and then the sample range made, going out and selling it, getting orders in, collating all of those and then sending those off for production. So it's a very long process.
And when you're designing a garment, do you have a certain body type that you think of or a certain person?
I like to think that my clothes are for every woman, and I have 4 collections, so I've sort of spanned just about every woman. And when I design, I think of the curvy woman and I think of the woman who is petite and slim, because everybody deserves to be dressed beautifully, and some parts of my collection will not suit some people, but there'll be another part of the collection that will. So I don't have one person in particular that I think about, but I do think about what a woman needs in her life, what she wants to reveal and what she wants to keep undercover, and so yeah, there's a lot that goes in. There's a lot of thinking that goes into designing a garment.
Now, you mentioned that your clothing is stocked all around the world. So how many stores do you have?
Around the world, probably at the moment I would have about 200 stores my garments are sold in. So our biggest market has been Australia and New Zealand, and then the US after that, but we have a store, a Trelise Cooper store in the Middle East, and we have independent stores that we sell to in places like Russia and Saudi Arabia and Dubai and Singapore, Hong Kong, China.
And what do you have to consider for the international market that differs to the New Zealand market?
Actually nothing. I think rather than being thought of as a brand about New Zealand, I'm an international brand from New Zealand, and I think to actually compete on the world stage, there's a lot of clothing in the world and a lot of clothing hanging on store racks, and for my clothing to be taken seriously and to be bought, it needs to be international and competitive. And
what can you tell me that are some tips that you would recommend for someone who may want to follow in your footsteps?
Yes. It's get a dream journal and actually write with your hand and a pencil, and write your dream as if it has already occurred. That's very important. Write that dream down in full technicolor and as much detail. So think about all of the things that you really wish to happen, and then I think you need to take action. You need to be persistent, determined, and hold on to the dream, especially in the challenging times, because they will come.
Now tell me, what other projects do you have lined up at the moment?
Well, I've just finished selling my spring collection. I've just started designing the summer collection and also in tandem the winter collection. So that's on my mind right at the moment. I'm in the midst of designing fabrics and new garments and new ideas.
Just ahead, the Waipa District Council plan. Welcome back. The Waipa District Council plan is up for review, so I caught up with Mayor Alan Livingston. So in your 2013-2014 annual plan, you've got $43 million in rates. What will some of this be put towards?
Of the $43.5 million collected in rates, 30% will go to community services such as parks and reserves, libraries, museums, etc. 25% will go to roading, 17% goes into governance and planning and regulatory, 14% goes to wastewater, 10% into drinking water and 5% into stormwater.
What is contributing to the rate increase?
The biggest contributor is $1.3 million increase in our depreciation, which in effect is 3.8%. We're changing our timing of revaluation, which is $165,000. Of course, we've got our local government elections, which is $89,000. So they're the main costs, and offsetting that is a savings that Council has identified of $400,000, plus a reduction in the cost of power of $150,000. So we believe that a 3% rate increase that's proposed is a pretty good result for Waipa District.
Why is depreciation the main factor?
Clearly we've got a high value of depreciation, $1.3 billion worth of assets, and we've changed our rating or our revaluation of our assets from a 3-yearly basis to annual. So we're caught in between a rollover there, so roading is on the annual basis, but we've got the last year of our waters. So that's contributing to a big increase in the coming year. Thereafter it'll be smaller incremental increases.
And what are the plans with the Te Awamutu Library?
Yeah, that's exciting, and there's a real need there because our library is only 25% of the expected national code. So we're going out to the community and with consultation and design work, setting aside $275,000 to say what does our community want. And that's looking forward because we've consulted already with our youth council, and that's provided some interesting results. And also it's a bigger picture because it's a package along with our museum and accommodation for staff, and looking at the likes of display areas for exhibitions, etc. So a big picture opportunity to look at libraries of the future.
And that's renovating the existing library there?
Well, that's a possibility, but the preference is to move it down to near the Te Awamutu Event Centre, and we'll develop a hub there of heritage, sporting and cultural. So that's the purpose, or the intent is to move the museum and library down to that area there.
And so you're going to put more money into building this kind of hub, community hub down there?
That's what we have budgeted in our long-term plan, yes.
How long are you kind of expecting for that to?
The proposal for the building of the library is 2015-16, so clearly we've got to do that front-end work, and the intent is for the museum to follow on, so looking at all of those things at the one time is logical.
And recycling, what are the options there for the Waipa District?
Well, at the present time we've got universal recycling for households, which is working exceptionally well. Last year we had requests from some of the commercial sector for recycling there, and that's what we're going out to the commercial sector to get feedback as to whether they want universal recycling as well, which I think is a really positive aspect.
Do you think that recycling is important for a council to take responsibility for? Because there's a lot of councils in our areas that don't.
Well, certainly. I believe recycling is, and that's something that Waipa District Council's provided a lead in. We're not involved in the collection of rubbish at all. That's left out to private enterprise. But in the case of recycling, and with the role or our association with the likes of schools, etc., that's proving very successful with the lead that we're providing.
And how are the plans coming along for the 150-year celebration?
That's well in hand. 2014 is going to be a very special year for Waipa District. Of course, it centres around the end of the Waikato Land Wars and the Battle of Ōrākau in April 1864, which was really the end of the Waikato Land War. And as a result of that, we had soldier settlements in Cambridge, Kihiki, Ōhaupo, Pirongia, and in effect that was the start of Waipa District as we know it. So we've, Council is acting as sort of the catalyst and the organiser of activities over the 2014 year. But Ōrākau, the 150th commemoration of that, will be a really big aspect of those celebrations.
And what is happening with the Ngā Hinapuri village?
Ngā Hinapuri village, just out of Hamilton. You might recall 2 years ago, unfortunately, their local church was burnt down, and since then the community have looked at the needs for Ngā Hinapuri in the future, and rather than building a purpose-built church of worship, they're looking at more of a community facility that can be utilised and enjoyed by other groups. And as part of that, it's an ideal opportunity to look at sort of the whole structure of the town, reorganising the road layouts and some of the services there, because we have identified Ngā Hinapuri as a growth cell within our proposed district plan.
Visit waipardc.gov.nz to view the annual plan. Coming up next, a local girl is Miss Teen New Zealand. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. 2 local girls from Hamilton have been crowned in the Miss Teen 2013 pageant. I caught up with them to find out more. So how was the national competition?
Oh, it was so much fun. It was held up in Auckland, so we had to get up an early morning start, and we got up there and met all the girls, did rehearsals, and we sat down with the judges and we had interviews, and they found out not just what we look like, but a bit about each other, and it was good.
And how did you feel when they called your name?
Oh, I can't really remember. I was just so excited. I had a speech straight after that, so I was just thinking, oh, but it was awesome.
How do you prepare for the event?
I got a spray tan, you get your nails done, but also the fitness side, I was running every night and just trying to eat healthy.
Were you nervous?
I wish I would say I wasn't, but definitely the nerves were there, like just backstage. It was excitement as well. We were all buzzing before we went on stage, but I had practiced previously my speeches, so I kind of knew what I was going to be saying.
How do you deal with the nerves?
Probably just deep breathing and kind of thinking about all you've done and why you're there that night.
So how much preparation actually goes into the night?
Well, you have to get your evening dress is kind of the biggest category, so I was most focused about that one. And I wore my mum's one that she wore in Miss Teen New Zealand, so we altered that and took the sleeves away and the puffy shoulders. And the national costume, I had a national costume dress that was all ready to go, so it wasn't last minute things, which is good. And jewellery, we just went shopping, and no, it was good.
And what about your hair and makeup?
Oh, well, there were some ladies backstage that helped us before we went on with our hair and makeup.
Why did you want to get into pageantry?
Well, there's a lot of confidence and experience that comes along with doing pageants, and that's what I wanted to get better at, and just being able to speak easily on stage in front of people, because there was quite a large audience there, so that all helped.
So how will you prepare for the Miss Teen World Contest?
Oh, it's soon. It's coming up in June. So I guess I'll just keep up my fitness and healthy eating, and then I'm getting my dresses done, which we're going up for fittings in Auckland, so that's all coming up.
And whereabouts is that being held?
Houston, Texas, America. I've never been over, so that'll be fun.
So what challenges do you face with pageantry?
Probably the speaking side I was more nervous towards, but I did a lot of practice beforehand, so I knew what I was getting myself into.
And how do you practice your public speaking?
Well, we actually got a light and Mum shone it at me, so we just kind of practiced talking into that and just in general getting trick questions.
Did you get sponsorship for the contest?
Yes, I was so lucky. Pageants in New Zealand, they're sponsoring my accommodation and airfares and everything over in Houston, so that makes everything awesome.
And for your hair and makeup as well?
Yes, I'm lucky enough. We went to some local businesses and they're all happy. They were definitely keen to sponsor, so that's good.
Well, all the best for the Miss Teen World Contest. So Hayley, how did you prepare for the event?
Well, I did preparation by getting my evening gown, also arranging my sponsor, just practicing my walks and talks, and also going to the gym and just keeping up my fitness.
So you said a special walk. What's that special walk?
It's just practicing walking around on stage like in your high heels, just making sure you're very confident on stage and that the judges can see that.
Why did you want to get into pageantry?
Well, I've been doing a lot of dancing like since I'm 4. I've been like going on stage, performing, things like that. So I've always wanted to do something, I guess, a bit different that's also got like the performing on stage, but something a bit different. So I saw this opportunity from Pageants of New Zealand and I thought, well, this would be a great opportunity to do. So I thought I'd try it.
Now, you won the interview category. Tell us about that.
Well, I just got asked quite a few questions like about my personality and what I wanted to do when I was older and things like that. So I think just for it you need to have a lot of like confidence and just express to the judges like how you feel.
So what do you think you'll do next year to place first?
Well, I've just signed up to the gym a couple of months ago, so I'm going to keep going to the gym. I'm going to get my fitness up. I'm going to keep practicing walking in heels, things like that.
Who do you look up to in the industry?
I look up to Alicia. She won the Miss Teen World last year, and she's also from New Zealand. She's such a lovely, wonderful girl. She's beautiful inside and out.
What expenses are involved?
To enter the pageant, you get a sponsor, which pay the entry fee. You also need to have an evening gown and appropriate attire for the day, like a day wear dress, clothes for dancing around, a swimsuit, obviously the heels. But you can arrange to get, your sponsor can help contribute for that.
So a lot of beauty queens actually support charities and that kind of thing. What causes do you support?
The Miss Teen New Zealand, we all fundraise for charity, and it's for Look Good, Feel Better. So I've done some raising of money for charity for that organisation.
What do they do?
Well, they raise money for women with cancer, so they give them makeovers and things like that.
So tell us about the national costume category.
Well, what you need to do is make an outfit to wear on stage that represents all the different cultures that are a part of you. So my mum and I together, we made our costumes. So I wore like a white dress with silver ferns on it and things like that, and I held a New Zealand flag. So it's really fun. You learn a lot to do with dressmaking in the process, and also seeing all the girls with their different costumes. It was really good experience, just getting to know lots of different things about where people were from and things like that.
Good luck to Hannah. We'll have to catch up with her after Miss Teen World to see how she went. That is the news for today. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook and let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back tomorrow night with more guests from in and around the regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.